The police often ask a person suspected of a crime to take a polygraph. On the face of it, this doesn't seem to be a bad idea. I once attended a lecture where the chief polygraph examiner of the state police explained, and I'll quote, "The purpose of a police polygraph is to coerce a confession." Never forget that. But despite the police purpose, we sometimes have our clients take a polygraph examination with a professional polygraph examiner that we trust. In this way, the examination and its interpretation are covered by the attorney-client privilege. If the client does well, we sometimes use a test to improve our position in court. If the client does not do well, no one has to know. How do polygraphs work? Scientists know that when we get anxious, the way our skin conducts electricity changes. This conductivity is called the galvanic skin response. Scientists know that when we are anxious, our breathing rate changes. Sometimes we have to ask anxious folks to breathe into a paper bag so they don't hyperventilate when they're anxious. Our heart rate changes when we are anxious as well. Polygraph machines measure these changes in our body as we are asked questions. A good polygraph examiner will ask numerous questions to get a baseline of average measures of how we react when answering questions. This is called the control phase of the examination. Next, the examiner will ask questions concerning the alleged crime that have been agreed upon in advance. This is called a test phase. The examiner notices the differences in our bodily responses between several controlled phases and several test phases. Based on the skill and education of the polygraph examiner, he or she then makes an educated guess as to whether the subject was anxious or not when the test questions were asked. Certainly, this is a simple overview of polygraph. And it is also true that most states do not allow the admission of polygraph evidence. But the law is changing as scientists learn more and more about how accurately we can measure folks when they are answering polygraph questions. Remember, we use professional polygraph examiners when it helps our case. Never take a police polygraph.